Right. I think just about everybody's here. Look at this full Zoom room. I absolutely
Welcome,
love
class.
this. I don't know about you guys, but I have been loving this series. We are now in week 2 of our series of our watershed culture, and I've just been lifted up by it. I've been really enjoying it. I've been grateful for the owners and guys like H teaching, Grondin and Mark and Craig, and just truly, it's been a special season for me. It's fun. I've been editing these videos and kind of re-watching and re-listening to it. And every time I do it, I'm like, I kind of like listen to it like a podcast. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so good. So good. And so I've been just grateful for all y'all that have been a part of it as well. And I've been really grateful too that how much you guys have set time away to join this meeting and to learn more about our watershed culture. It's pretty special. So I'm grateful for all y'all, and it's been a fun season for us. So now we're starting week 3. Week 3, we're going to be talking about not watershed culture. Yes, we are. Body language and elevated language. And I thought about Mark, and I thought about John, and John has this passion for this stuff, and in particular these culture concepts. And that's, I don't think I've ever really asked someone. Typically, if I ask someone, hey, like, what's your favorite culture concepts? Like, not all the time body language and elevated language comes up. And so it was kind of cool that was like John's like, I love it. I want to talk about it. Let's do it. And then Mr. Mark is going to be teaching us the why behind it, and why did we create these culture concepts and why are we living them out today. So Mark, without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to you, and I'd love to hear from you and teach it.
Thanks.
My pleasure. I'm going to be
Hear me okay?
so everybody knows. Okay.
And if I start to up, stop me right away.
You did cut out just right there, actually.
Good morning, and welcome to today's Cultural Concepts. Today, Jon Bond and I have the honor to go over 2 cultural concepts that are really close to my heart, and that is elevated language and body language. And I'm going to start off by giving some whys as to these are cultural concepts, the importance of it, and then Jon Bond is going to go into the application of what those 2 cultural concepts look like. Let's start with elevated language. Man, who doesn't love words that build up, honor you, words that encourage you, words that inspire you? Who doesn't love to be spoken to like that? Words are powerful, and they have the ability to tear down and kill or build up. So words are important, they matter. So my question to each one of you is, how aware are you of the words that are coming outside of your mouth? I love what the writer in the Bible talks about. His name is James. He compares the tongue that produces words to 3 different things. And one of those is the rudder of a ship. The second one would be the metal bit in a horse's mouth. And the third one is a small fire. So he gives these examples as to how important that little thing in your mouth called the tongue is that produces words. So he starts off with the rudder of a ship. He says that the tongue is just like a rudder of a ship. Although it's one of the smallest parts of the ship, it has the ability to turn that ship wherever it goes. So wherever that rudder is turned, the ship goes, meaning it controls the entire ship. Then he goes into the metal bit in a horse's mouth. That little metal piece connected to 2 leather straps has the ability to turn the horse wherever it wants to go. So you can have control of the entire horse as long as you have a bit in the horse's mouth. And the third one is a small fire. James controls that tongue that produces words to a small fire. And though it can start off with a small little flame, it has the power to set an entire forest ablaze, meaning that little organ inside of your mouth has the ability to kill and destroy and set things on fire. So that's how important James says the tongue is. It's so small, but it actually controls who you are. The words that you use will run your life. And I love what the proverb says, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth will speak. So for better or worse, whatever is inside of your body, inside that heart, it will find its way out through the mouth, which is really important about why we should be planting good things in our life. things that are going to come out as joy to others. Because if you start implanting small things, bad things inside of you, it will find its way outside the mouth. So let me start you off with this question. You ask yourself, do you value people? Because people, or do you find people as of utmost importance? Because if you care about people, you're going to care about how people perceive you, which in turn will have you care about the words you speak and how you present yourself. We have a culture of choosing to use our words to build up and give respect and honor to those who are listening, whether it be our customers or our fellow teammates. Jon Bond's going to be going into the application of what this elevated language looks like, but it's super important. So hope you take a little time to think about what was said as to why we have it and how important that little tongue inside your mouth that produces words is, and that you can start using speech that honors and respects the people that are listening to you. Let's go into body language now. It's non-verbal. What we communicate non-verbally is equally as important as the words that we speak and use. Science says that the body language can account for up to 55% of communication. Words account for about 7%, and the tone and gestures that we use can account for 38%. So what we say is a small part of how we communicate. The way you communicate with your body will speak volumes over what you say to people. Your body will convey information and emotions that may not be expressed through words alone. So let me give you an example. You ask a question, hey, how you doing? That person says, I'm fine. But guess what's going to convey a lot more than I'm fine? If they are hunched over, their head is down, their eye has no contact with you, and what are they communicating really? Are they really fine? No, their body language would communicate that things are not fine. So it's just an example of the gestures we use and the body language we show will speak more than the words that we say. Most of your communication with customers is going to be nonverbal. So it just iterates the importance of body language and how we present ourselves and what the customers see more than what they hear us say. A couple reasons why body language is important is because it expresses emotion. Your facial expressions, your gesture, and your posture will reveal really more of how the person is feeling. Number two, it's going to build trust and rapport. So when people use positive body language, such as smiling, waving, making eye contact, using open gestures, it's going to communicate, I'm no threat. And it's going to make the people around you comfortable, which in turn will build trust with that person. Your body language is an essential part of communication and can greatly enhance your ability to understand and connect with others. So let me give you an example of what this is like. Well, let me ask you a question, actually. Do you want people to be attracted to you? Do you want to be respected? Do you want to be able to lead people? Do you want people to listen to what you have to say? Well, body language and elevated language is in large part a great way to do that. So let me give you an example. Let's imagine you are a hook. So this represents you. And your bait that you put on the hook is elevated language and body language. This is how you're presenting yourself to the outside world, right? So if you're putting bad stuff on the hook, you're not going to be very attractive and the fish won't bite. So you presenting yourself, looking the part, speaking the part of a young gentleman or a young lady is the bait that's going to attract people. And in turn, people are going to respect that and you're going to move up. So how are you presenting yourself? Be asking yourself that question. Are you presenting yourself in such a way that people are going to be attracted to you? Be thinking about that. Each one of you is created uniquely by God. There's only one of you in the entire world that has ever been created or ever will be created. You are a unique hook. Everyone has a hook to them. And you can enhance what's on that hook by how you come across to people. So you have unique gifts and you have a unique way about you that no one is just like you. So you can attract people in a certain way that is uniquely to you. And so I challenge you, be that person, be thinking about how you come across to people through the way that you talk and the way that you look. Jon Bond, take it away, man. Let's start hearing some examples. Great to have you.
Oh, it's
Johnny,
okay.
I hand the mic to you. I want to hear what Johnny has to say.
It didn't add more. It didn't add more pressure at all. No worries. No, by no means. Now, how you guys doing this morning? That's beautiful.
Hey, we're doing good, Jon Bond.
There it is.
We're doing great, Jon Bond.
There it is. Oh God. Let's go, guys. Yo, thank you for coming in, and Dan, thank you for having me. This is an honor of mine to be able to come and speak in front of you people about this topic. This is beautiful for me. So thank y'all big time. I'm gonna go into a few different sections right here. I'm gonna kind of give a little background about how it kind of came into my life, and give some stories about how I use it on the field and how I teach it to my people. So we're gonna dive in a little bit. So I'm very passionate about these two topics for sure. I truly believe that these two things are part of the reason why I'm in front of you guys right now. It's because how I carry myself and how I speak to people. I think that demonstrating this is a part of what we should be doing as natural as people. Like Mark said, if you care about others around you and yourself, you will want to carry yourself to a higher standard. I truly believe in that. So I'm gonna share some information about what it means to me, how to kind of Kaizen your process, and how we can go about this, teaching this in the process in the field. So yeah, Mark did caught my eye with something. It was very interesting when you said, I had to write it down for sure. So what is in your heart will come out of your mouth. Like that's absolutely amazing. I think that what we take in is more what comes out with our bodies, and we really process what we think about. And so what you guys are hearing, the people you put around you is highly important. So I love that, Mark, for sure. And then body language can communicate what the words won't say. I love that. That was a great nugget right there. And the percentages were correct. 55% of our communication is nonverbal. So that means they're watching what you do more than what you say at times. So we'll keep that in mind. So body language, elevator language. The first thing that comes to my mind when I hear these two terms is perspective. To me, perspective means to have a particular attitude towards something or a way of regarding something, like a point of view. And so I think my first time really hearing this was my mom a long time ago. My mom is not college educated by no means. She's a Lexington, Kentucky lady that grew up on a farm, So, but she told me a long time ago, son, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. It's not what you do, but it's how you do it. And so I held that on as a young man, big time. So I knew early on that something like showing good body language was shaking the man's hand firm, looking him in the eye while I'm talking to him. And also, just a little side story. I think my first time using elevated language was as a young man growing up, approaching young women. It was funny because a lot of my friends were saying things like, hey, cutie, and what's up, shorty? And I'm saying things like, hey, beautiful, and you look incredible today, So I say my start wasn't with the right ideas in mind, but I loved what I was doing for sure. And so as I got older, I found out how to dignify my language. I began to study a little more about what it means to really code myself in the right manner. That's how to use words to express how I feel. My goal was separate myself from the others by carrying myself in a manner to display the kind of person I want to be perceived. I want people to see what I have in my heart. I want to be poured out into the world. And so I had to use that by carrying myself the right way and using the right words. So for me, elevator language is speaking elaborately. It's showing virtue through your words. I think using complex verbiage to express yourself and your ideas and your emotions come across in the right way. So I got a little story to tell you guys about how to kind of use it in the field and how it's kind of came to me. At times it's easy to do when everybody's being nice and happy. You know, when everybody's loving you and enjoying you, it's easy. But when adversity strikes, you know, how do you implement these type of things? And so I got a story about May Avenue. It was funny because, you know, part of my personal being is what happened in this story. So I loved it. So we had a customer come in for an incident, and she drove in, ceramic customer. The gate opened up for her. She came around the queue and she parked the car. And I was on a computer, so I looked out and I saw a car parked. So I thought, you know, maybe they're just, you know, putting their mirrors in or, you know, getting something in the back of the car or something like that. She got the car and lit a cigarette. And I was like, whoa, like she lit a cigarette in the middle of the queue, like, you know, what's going on? So Zach B came and got up. He said, hey, John, somebody wants a manager out there. So I ran outside and, you know, instantly she was, you know, kind of upset. You can see it all over her body for sure. And so she said, where's the manager? I said, well, I'm the manager. She says, no, where's the real manager? I say, well, I am the real manager. And so she says she gets to go to the story. She tells me, well, your car wash messed up my car. It left blue paint on my door. And I said, wow, ma'am, I do see the paint. So I got a little closer. When I got closer, she told me, don't put your black scummy fingers on my car. And I bagged up and said, oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry it happened to your car. I do want to help you as best as I possibly can. Could you, move to the side? You're right now, you're impeding traffic. So can you move to the side? We can go over detail about how we can help you out this process. So she gets in the car, slams the door, drives around, goes in the belt lane and kind of parks her car, gets out. So I go inside, I get a clipboard, do the incident report, do my normal practices. And the whole time, guys, it triggered me. In that moment, it's perspective. What she's looking for is a way to assert what's going on in her mind. She just wants to get it out. She's frustrated right now. But my goal is to make sure that she knows that my job is to help her regardless of what she said to me. So she's lighting a cigarette. She's still smoking a cigarette. I come outside and say, hey, ma'am, here's the clipboard. The best way for me to help you is to give you much information as possible. I want to help you. I promise my goal is to get you served the best way I can. But from here, we need the information on the board, on the clipboard. So the whole time, guys, I promise she's like smoking a cigarette, blowing it in my face. And in that moment, guys, I can show that I'm frustrated, but I know that in my heart, I have a purpose personally as to change perspective. So what I'm going to do in that moment is to show her I'm above her. I'm above what she's wanting to give. And I'm going to do that through my language and how I'm holding my body. So she's upset, mad, waving her hands, all this stuff. And the whole time I'm calm. I'm in a very relaxed manner. I put my hands behind my back. For me, being my size, what helps me to escape the situation is how I hold myself. So I put my hands behind my back, carry myself a little lower. I slouch down a little more to kind of come down to her level. In that whole instance, though, guys, she's wanting, a little more attitude coming out. So, guys, moments when people kind of push you is when it's time to really think about perspective. How do I want to be perceived in this moment? Do I want to show my employees and the customers that even through adversity, you can still demonstrate your body language and your elevator language? And so, guys, incident reports is a great way to really express and show what you have in your heart. Guys, we're the messengers. We are not the ones that foresee the final say. But our goal is to be the front line of the defense. And that is demonstrate our values, our cultural concepts. And that's body language, elevator language. So, guys, incident reports is one thing I would say will really help you out the process of applicating these things. So we're going to dive into a little more about how to teach it to your other employees in a second. Any questions about, in a situation like that, any questions about how I could hold myself or what you might think about the situation? Anything make us happen me?
I might just have one point. It's really easy to have elevated language and body language and to live to the culture, but it's really easy to do that when things are all going your way. It's like you said, it's when adversity comes that's when people start talking back. That's when the uglier side of us come out, is when we're being pushed to our limit. And so that, I think that goes without saying, but it's just interesting in that story. That's really how it plays out, is that you can choose to control yourself, or you can choose to join her in that and be an adversary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Dan. So I do want to, like I say, application. So how I teach elevator language. I believe that we all have something close to us, and we all think about a brand. I think branding is something that we all believe in. We hear all the time at Watershed. We hear about it when we're doing over each meeting each week, the brand, what you want to represent yourself as. So guys, we're going to dive in a little more about it, but remember, brand is a big part of elevator language. So I want to kind of revert back a little bit to body language a little more. So doing my homework on this, I ran across a quote, and it hit home for me big time. I love quotes, and so I wrote it down for myself personally. But it's about a guy named Ralph Emerson, and he says, "What you do speaks so loud that I cannot hear what you say." And it was just, for me, it was captivating. It was a moment of like, wow. As a parent, I tell my kids all the time, I give them words all the time, but what I do is what they're watching more than what I think. And so that quote was huge for me. What you do speaks so loud I cannot hear what you say. So guys, that's saying that regardless of if it's good or bad, the thing that you do and how you carry yourself will speak volume. So you want to be perceived the right way. So like I say, you guys, for a person like myself, carrying myself in the right manner is a big part of how I succeeded in life and how I am moving forward in life. It's by carrying myself in the right manner. It also has advantages in life. People tend to, I would say, lean toward or feel enlightened by individuals with great body language. I got a story about when we was at Lowe's, actually with Zach Peak. Me and Zach was at Lowe's getting things together for May Avenue. And so, we're walking through Lowe's, and we got, some shelves, and we got like a refrigerator, and, we trying to find a washing machine at this point. And so while we're walking around doing our thing, this gentleman, wanted to help us out. And so he walks over, he's like, "Hey guys, how can I help you?" So it's customer service. We talking a little bit, he's yelling over stuff. And so, out of the blue, he kind of steps back and he's like, "So you fellas, are you guys opening up a gym? Are you guys on a gym?" And I mean, immediately my head got huge. Like, like this guy thinks that we carry ourselves in a manner and look the way as if we own a gym. So our body language came off as if we carry ourselves in a manner that we could be the people that own stuff. So, of course, for me, well, Zach thinks he's big, but of course, for me, I felt really good about myself, and it was an amazing feeling for sure. But carrying yourself, guys, can open up different doors. It really, really can. So I do want to dive into how I believe it's the best way to teach this. Just in my opinion, what's worked for me in the past and what works for me now. It goes back to when I was really working on refining myself and kind of fine tuning my habits. So the book I read called High Performance Habits by Brandon Burchard, it was a really, really good book. Gave me some good insight on like the small things I do, kind of the compound effect. The small things add up to big things. And so teaching this, I think about the brand a lot when I go into concepts. You guys know that we all have our young employees. They have their Nikes on, they have their Adidas. They believe in their brand and represents who they are. And so for you guys teaching this thing, we want to ask your employees, what is your personal brand? Like, who do you want to be focused on? Who you want people to see you as in the future, or how you carry yourself? So I ask my employees now, like, who do you want people to see you as? What kind of parent you want to be? What kind of employee you want to be? And what kind of person you want to be in society? Your personal brand is important. So for me, my personal brand is to be a stand-up guy. And that means to be a straightforward man of good character. And so you want to ask your employees who they want to be. And when they tell you, this is the kicker, when they tell you, "Hey, I want to be, this level, I want to get a blue shirt," we want to hold them accountable to the standard they set for themselves. So for instance, Ford Brooks wants to be a site manager. So we're going to carry ourselves in a manner like a site manager now, not when the time comes. And so There's two areas, guys, that we have a huge part to demonstrate these two characters, these cultural concepts. We have two main areas. That's loading and it's X stations. So let's talk about X stations a little bit, because we all know it's important. X is presence, but being up there is just not being up there. It's what you're doing while you're up there. And let's go into first impressions. So first impressions are an almost instant conclusion that we draw from someone when we first meet them. So imagine you're at the X station, you're at the kiosk, you got poor posture, you're not smiling, you're shooting basketballs in the trash can with your friends, with the water bottles, just having a grand old time because it's maybe a little slow at the moment. When someone's driving up and see that, and my first impression would be they don't care about their jobs or themselves, or maybe they don't respect their jobs or themselves. And so in that moment, imagine a customer pulling up to the same kiosk and you're sitting there at attention, you have a warm smile, a great gesture, and you're waiting to serve them. I would want to engage with that person. It's like Mark said, attraction. A person that carries himself the right way will be attracted the right way. And now you got to finish it up with elevated language. It's easy to have somebody, in the culture we live right now, everybody says bro so easily. It happened to me recently at Raising Cane's. Here you go, 1948, bro. And I was like, I'm at your restaurant right now trying to make a purchase and you calling me bro. But the culture was he's so comfortable in that manner. We want to break out of that, guys. We want to be elevated in that manner. We want to show formal verbiage and we want to let them know we want to send them off the right way. If someone approached me with phenomenal gestures, saying things like please and thank you and my pleasure with a right send off, I'm going to engage in the person when I come back next time. I'm going to think about the person next time. I ain't going to that Raising Cane's again for sure, though. I'm not going back there again. He called me bro. That was terrible. We're not doing that. So I do want to go into loading a little bit too, because we've all been to a car wash, that has the guy in the gray sweatpants with the baggy shirt, he has the beanie on sideways. Oh, it's the finger. It's the finger for me. I hate the finger. The fingers are terrible. Most people value their car more than their home in a sense. Some folks don't really have a chance to own a home. They can't own a car. So for them, the car is very important. So imagine being loaded by somebody with phenomenal posture. They're directing themselves with great gesture. Their hands are perfect. We got big arm movements. We're directing, we're smiling. We're doing adjusting hands left and right. It's going to be awesome, guys. They're going to want to engage in that tunnel. They're going to want to come in tunnel and they're going to trust you in that tunnel. If the guy is not in that manner, for me, for me, loading, guys, is a pet peeve of mine. I love loading. And so I take loading very practical. So some of you guys have a hard time communicating verbally with some folks at the X stations. But when you're loading cars, you can show them who you are right there in that spot as well. So we have those folks that are a little timid. It's okay. Not everyone is going to be Darwin up front. That's okay. It's okay to have someone in the tunnel, though, doing their thing, but showing who they are and also getting confidence about being expressing themselves. So loading is a great place to go, guys. Loading is a great place. So what helped me develop these skills, guys, were habits. Like I said, Brandon Bouchard, high performance habits. And in that book, he had a quote that I absolutely love. I probably say it to myself 3 times a week. And it's, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then, it's not an act, but a habit. So guys, we can practice certain habits of using these skills each day and they will become like second nature. You don't think about where to put your keys at. The keys just go there. For a while, you have to think about like how to carry myself. How's my customer receiving this? Doing a write-up, what I do right now, doing a write-up, guys, I sit down. I make sure I sit down in my seat. So I practice skills that become habits over time. So guys, if you guys are out there in the field, what you guys right now, and you see someone out there that just lack confidence, you can give them confidence by transferring it from you. Give them personal insight. Let them demonstrate themselves. Give them an opportunity to demonstrate themselves. Like I said, guys, up front, kiosk is a huge part to do it, but there's chances to do it. The issue we all may have sometimes is reps, because some of you guys go home and you spend all your time at home confined. So I get it. You may have an opportunity to get out there and be more I would say open to people. But when you're up front at your job or you're loading cars at your job, you absolutely can take advantage of demonstrating good everyday language and body language. So I would say, guys, get there on the field and give them confidence. Know that they have the skills to do it because you were hired to give them the skills to do it as well. So that's really all I have for you guys.
Dang, John, that was good, man.
Yeah. And John, that's why you just came to mind too. Like you exude it. And then the first time I met you, you're just like, you just exude this idea of like how you talk and how to hold yourself. And I can just tell you're so intentional about it. I don't think there's not like a wasted movement with you. It's all thought through. So once again, man, it's a thank you for sharing that with us. And I hope some people got some good knowledge from that, or some
Danny, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Would you mind? Jon Bond, phenomenal job, bud.
Thank you. I'm gonna tell you, I've been working on this for a little bit. It took me a little bit, but thank you for the opportunity for sure.
And it shows. It shows. I think our new slogan, when we see something bad at a site, we should just say, "That's the finger." I like that slogan.
That's the finger.
No, hey, listen. So I have a comment and a question. So I love that you hit on the incidents, because I think that's your opportunity to really you have an awareness there, right? When a customer's like, okay, this customer's going next level. I think you have to have that awareness, right? That, all right, my body language, I can feel my heart racing. This person's looking for a fight, right? And those are the best opportunities, wouldn't you suggest, to say, all right, how do I utilize my body language? And what did you say your gesture was? You did something with your hands? Yeah.
So, I would typically, when someone is in an aggravated state, I'll make myself a little smaller. So I put my hands in my pocket, put my hands on my back, I step away a little bit, even create like a little distance between them too. So I could just, make myself a little smaller to them.
Yeah. So that's a gesture that you're showing this person, I'm not aggressive, right? I'm with you and I'm for you. And I think, gosh, if we can continue to train on that, to say, hey, how do we become aware as leaders, as managers? This person's upset. Let me think about my body language, because you start going, your heart starts going, you start going like this. Now it's on, right? By that gesture that you did was almost a peace gesture. And I think that's amazing. And then the question I had for you, John, was, you said something really quick. You said, I use body language and verbal language to separate myself from others. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that through life, we all have our challenges. When it comes to social, we all have our different challenges. And so what I wanted to do was to show others that, regardless of who you are and where you're from, you can engage into people. And so, like, one of my purposes in life, big time, is perspective. And so I began to focus deeply on how I carry myself to demonstrate what I want to be. And so when people would approach me in a manner, I make myself look approachable. So it's not really it's not something that I would say everyone will hone in on, but I think that, like you say, H, if everyone can be more focused on their awareness of how they carry themselves, they can get through these situations a lot easier. That's what I do now. Is typically when something happens to me, my first thought is John, not outwardly, not what they're doing, what's wrong with them. Is how can I do what I can do right now in this situation? It's a QBQ. What can I control right now with my actions? So it was, for me, that's what it is. Separate myself meant, in order for John to show that he could be different, is to be approachable, because folks attract approachable people. And so that's what I would focus on is what I say and how I say it, and also what I do and how I do it. Like my mom told me a long time ago, it was genius. She don't even know though. She has no clue.
You should probably tell her.
Oh, I mean, I told her about this. She say, "Son, are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, I'm gonna throw you in there, Mom."
Hey, John, I got a question for you. For managers or for people that aren't as aware as you are of their body language, and kind of seeking that out and having that kind of self-awareness, or it's almost that kind of emotional intelligence that awareness with customers or even their team, what would you say, what would you suggest to them to create the habit so that does become second nature? What can they be doing today to remember to be looking for those things?
Well, it's become more observant. I tell my son right now, he's at an age to where he's trying to figure out who he is as a person and how he's going to be in life. So he's 9 and about to be 10, so he's confused and he don't know what he wants to do as a person quite yet. So I tell him to watch his surroundings. Jay says a quote all the time, and I don't know who he stole it from. I'm not quite sure, but if you're in a car full of people and you're a smart person in that car, then you get out of the car. So I would think the habit begins with who you put yourself around. You can't be in an environment that is not inducive to actually become more successful when it comes to saying the right things and doing the right things. So I think the awareness comes from being more observant. We got to get out of ourselves more. Right now, the cell phones are destroying social skills big time. Right now it's more about what you post and what you do in society. People spend more time inside. So I think we need to get more observant, get outside. I actually did something for about 8 months that helped me. It may sound crazy, but I wouldn't go to drive-thrus. I didn't go to no drive-thrus. I would go dine in each restaurant I would go to. And dining in put you in a spot where you have to be observant and you also have to engage with people. If you're in a drive-thru, getting my food, driving off, in the parking lot, eating whatever I want to do. But going inside, I'm gonna see 20 or so people at lunchtime. I'm gonna talk to the cashier, person making my food. It may be a waiter, something like that. But I'm gonna put myself in opportunities to do that. We all pray for what we want, but what God does give us opportunities to do it. And so, guys, get out there in the field and make yourself more observant by giving yourself a chance to be observant. You can't do it if you're in yourself more. You gotta do it by getting out there more. So I would just say, get out there and be more observant by putting yourself in chances to be more observant.
I had a question as well I wanted to ask real quick. I don't want to take too much time here. But John, the big thing that popped out at me here, you said there's 2 things. The first one, dignify your language. Those 3 words kind of popped at me big time. What does it mean to dignify your language, John?
So dignifying a person. So dignifying means you carry yourself in a certain manner, but you're also working towards obstructing things you don't understand. And so dignifying my language to me was learning more about what I don't know. Like right now, I'm doing Duolingo on my phone to learn a little Spanish. I'm trying to speak a little in. So to me, what I think it is, dignifying your language means finding ways to use different words to express what you really want to say already. Again, in what you say is how you say it. So I do it right now. Even when I'm doing an email, I will type in certain words. I will legit highlight the word, find a synonym for the word, and put that word instead. And doing this over time became natural. So I will learn that word. So now I can add it to my vocabulary. So I would say dignifying your language also, when it comes to body language, means, I think, again, being more observant. Right now, when we go over write-ups. The other day you had a write-up, it was phenomenal. And you show elevated language, body language by how you demonstrate yourself in adverse pride. Are you finna say something? Go ahead, I see you finna say
when you're done, that's the second part. You said something that feeds into it. Finish up, and then I want to real quick.
Yeah, but that's really what it's about, guys. Dignifying my language for me meant, again, being more observant, but also learning more words. You guys can't. We all resources. So right now, if I'm in an interview, I'm in a discussion with a Scott Brown and the Mark, I'm finna learn more words. I just learned RAS, what that was, and it messed my mind up. Because right now, I want to buy a black Dodge Ram, and now everywhere I see a black Dodge Ram, and it's destroying me. So, you can learn from people around you guys. So find your center for it. You got a Zach Peak beside you. He's a great guy to learn from, but you also gotta get a little bit out of Zach Peak.
I've been hearing a whole lot about that RAS.
Exactly. You've been hearing a lot. The RAS is on my mind a lot.
Zach is like
you were starting to mention real quick about write-ups. That's been a topic. It's real sensitive. It's hard to get around what you can and can't say. You don't want to jump out at someone and be too mean or too harsh, but you got to get through to them. I loved what you said about your actions are so loud that I can't hear you, that's going to be something I'm going to use going forward if I ever have to get, if I hear maybe an excuse, something that I know is not true, but you are saying it. Well, that's not, unfortunately, your action speaks so loud. I can't even hear you right now. I love that, Jon Bond. Thank you.
You got for Brooks.
Hey, John, I got a question for you.
Oh man. I'm
Muy
ready.
bien, excelente, excelente, first of all. But
Thank you, Scott.
hey, how would you no, actually real quick, I was just thinking of over the years, we've had so many young general managers pop on to the training circuit and say, hey, I want to take on a very complex topic, and it sets us back. You're like, whoa, that was amazing what that person said. And a lot of those guys are leaders in our company, like H and Dan and Justin and Jay and Andy. And it's been amazing to see you prepare this and present this to us. And I just want to acknowledge you for having the courage to do it and to step into that. Way to go. That's great leadership.
Thank you, Scott. I love it. I appreciate you.
My one thought, practically though, I want you to, I'm a 21-year-old. I'm in Oklahoma. It's middle of August. My back hurts. I've been loading 400 cars. My body language, my shoulders are low. I'm tired. My bank account's low. I'm just not feeling it. How would you coach someone through that?
Well, it's not about it's about the mace. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And so at times, we've all went there in a place where we've been there to where, the feet hits us into where we can't really overcome that certain thing. So what I do now happens now. I got young guys that is experienced in life and they have so much worry. Oh man, John, would I be enough? Would I do enough? Would I get enough? So many questions. And we all been to the same place, where we question what's to come. But I would think what I tell my guys now is to setting yourself on what you can't control. There's so many factors around us that we cannot control. Like we don't know what's happening tomorrow. The weather's gonna be bad. We're gonna wash 18 cars today again. But those moments happen. So what I would say is setting yourself around what you want long term. So I set goals with the guys. Yes, you're having a bad day today. 20-mile march. We're going like 20 miles today. So today you made a little over 20 miles. So how do we get back to standing that 20-mile march? And so as a manager, my words to a young man in that moment would be to be patient, to know that you're on your journey you're supposed to be on. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Some people get lucky and hit the jump shot at 21 years old and some 31 years old, but it's all about your own personal journey. So I center it more so around that person and what their wants versus where they're at in the moment right there.
I love it. I love it. Good advice.
Mark, what did you think about John's talk? Did he miss anything that you want to add on to, or did he hit it?
If I had the emoji fire, it would be all over the screen right now.
So,
John, great job. Thank you. You remind me of one word, and that word is you are a distinguished young man. You know what that word means?
Distinguished. I would love to hear your definition of it.
The definition of distinguished is successful, authoritative, and commanding great respect. And there's no question that's how you carry yourself. And like Ford said, what was that word that you used that Ford repeated?
Dignify.
Dignify.
Language.
Certainly in part, distinguished certainly has dignified into it. And I think he's dead on, and great job, John, because that's what I see in you for sure. Thanks for the talk.
Thank you, Mark. It's a little, first time doing something like this in a long time. So I gotta Kaizen myself big time, but it's the process big time. So thank you for letting me speak on the call with you though. This is huge right here. It's the company. I love to be it. It's part of who I am. And so thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah. Thank you for being so passionate about the subject, because gosh, right. If it's just 2 words on a page on Slack, we're going to miss the entire meaning when there is so much behind it. And you definitely let us know that there is a ton behind it, and it's very important. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Hey, wonderful job, y'all. Amazing work. John, thank you so much for the energy you put into it and the passion you put into it. Mark, I cannot wait to record your session. It's gonna be cool. We'll put it right at the front end of this video. And then we can send it out to everybody and you guys can catch that full with no glitches or no skipping. So thank you for being here. This watershed culture is important. Next week, same time, 9 a.m. And don't skip it, because once again, we're unpacking a lot of, we're essentially unpacking like purpose, but also like our history to what our company came from. We've been this company's been together now for 15 something years, I think, Mark, plus or minus, sorry. I forget, gas station just depends on when we started, but Watershed has a long history to it, but we're only 4 or 5 years old. And so it's amazing how we have more to it. So we're unpacking some of those things. And so join us again for next week, 9 a.m., same number, same time.